going to ask is that you just don't use the amplification device, okay?
Okay. Are you a Christian?
I am.
Okay. Do you believe that God's law is supreme?
Yeah.
Okay. So where does God's law prohibit me from using loud sound to preach the gospel?
I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just simply here to let you know. I'm not using it, okay?
Can you talk to me as a Christian?
I just did.
You said you're not here to argue with me, but how about reasoning with another believer?
I think that's reasonable.
Can you reason with me?
Sir. Again.
All right, so you're not going to listen to what I'm saying? You're just going to
you're
just going to shut me down?
I'm not shutting you down. I literally, first thing I said was, I have no problem with what you're doing, other than that amplification device.
You're shutting down the conversation, though. I'm trying to have a conversation with you about the law of God, and you're running away from it.
I'm not here to have a conversation about the law of God.
Why? You're a Christian, right?
I am. But I'm here to let you know that it's against city ordinance because you're not allowed to use it, that unless you have a permit. It's an amplification device. What you're using as an amplification device, obviously.
But God says I can use it, so that's the point I'm making.
But you can't.
God says I can use it. So who are you to tell me I can't use it? You're not following what God says.
I'm letting you know. So don't use it, okay?
I'll do what I want. You need to follow God, okay?
Yeah. All I'm asking is a very simple request.
I understand what you're asking me, but I'm telling you to follow what God says, and God says I have the right to use the megaphone. You need to follow what God says. If you claim to be a Christian, then actually follow what God says.
You're not going to do that, and it doesn't need to go anything further than what I'm already asking. Okay? It's very reasonable.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you're violating God's law.
It's very reasonable, right?
You're violating God's law.
I'm not asking you for anything crazy. I'm not even asking you to stop.
Where does God say in His law that I shouldn't use loud sound? That you could? Where does God authorize you to punish me for using loud sound to preach the gospel?
Does God not set all the authority in the world? He does.
No, well, James says there's only one lawgiver. There's only one lawgiver. So your law has to be in line with God's law because He's the only lawgiver. So your law is not a legitimate law because it's not in line with the law of the only lawgiver.
All I'm asking is to not use the amplification device. That's all I'm asking.
I understand you're asking me to do that. I'm asking you to obey God.
I'm not saying stop doing what you're doing. I'm not saying anything except to stop using that.
Stop disobeying God.
Cool.
Stop disobeying God.
We good?
You're not good. You're disobeying God.
Okay.
You're inflicting an illegitimate, sinful law on me.
Well, that's between me and God.
It is, and you're going to have to answer to God for that one day.
Don't use it anymore. Cool.
Repent. Follow God's law.
So,
be a true Christian.
If I have to come back out here and you're still using that, then we'll have to go a separate route, other than me just asking. Okay? Which I'm sure you can understand.
I can't understand you violating God's law. It doesn't make any sense.
It's not between me and you, that's between me and God.
Well, it is between us because I'm a believer and you claim to be a believer. I have the right to call you to repent.
Doesn't matter. It's not between me and you, it's between me and God. Again, all I'm asking is for you not to use the amplification device. Right? Speak what you got to speak. Say what you got to say. Don't use that. Cool? Easy enough, right? Very simple request that I'm asking. That way it doesn't have to escalate from this point forward.
I'm not going to agree.
Thank you.
You can go on your merry way. If I use the megaphone again, then God's gonna punish you for your sin if you punish me.
That's all I'm saying. Stop using it. Cool. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not going to verbally agree.
Well, if you actionably don't agree, then we'll have to go a different route. Okay? So I'm letting you know. Thank you.
Repent. For goodness sake, repent.